Hello everyone, I'm Bill Hammond and I actually paid to see this, and welcome back once more to the 2026 Oscar Blitz, where I break down every category and every nominee for the 98th Academy Awards. Today we're looking at one of the most intriguing fields this year, Best Actor. The competition was incredibly fierce this year, leaving us with a murderer's row of nominees, arguably the strongest we've seen this century, and easily the best since I've been doing the Blitz itself. When you have career best turns from the likes of Joel Edgerton, Robert Pattinson, and Lee Byung-hun all left off the final list, and you still can't really argue against it, you know you've got an elite crop on your hands. So let's get to the nominees. Timothée Chalamet, Marty Supreme. Chalamet is the clear frontrunner for this award, having already won the Critics' Choice and Golden Globe, and it's hard not to see why. While he's played fun leading roles with a bit of a roguish edge over the years, he's never been an out-and-out villain, but he is here. As the title character in Marty Supreme, Chalamet infuses the table tennis pro with this delusional, almost insane degree of entitlement and lack of empathy. All he cares about are his own ambitions for fame and fortune, and screw anyone else and what they might think. Even those willing to help him are merely a means to an end, and while he has some humanity in him, he has no qualms callously casting them aside once their usefulness to his goals is completed. He's a man who refuses to compromise, even though he rarely, if ever, has leverage in a given situation. He's just that convinced that he's destined for greatness, and continues to gamble on himself and lose, to the detriment of himself and others. He has no shame, no scruples, and no luck, and Chalamet plays it to the hilt, daring you to hate him and root for him at the same time. He wouldn't necessarily get my vote in this field, but I can't fault anyone who does vote for him. Leonardo DiCaprio, one battle after another. DiCaprio has basically had his choice of roles ever since he broke out as a big star some 30 years ago, and he always seems to pick the perfect projects to showcase his talents. One Battle After Another may be his best turn yet, and considering his record to date, that is saying something. As Bob/Pat, he spends the first part of the film maintaining a delicate balance. He's a revolutionary, but he's timid. He can cause lots of damage, but he prefers order to chaos. He's fiercely loyal to Perfidia, but rightly fears that she's just too much for him to handle. As a father, he's overly protective, but he's also a laid-back stoner whenever he can find his moments of peace. Then, once the axe falls and both his and his daughter's lives are in danger, he turns on a dime to become this manic, whirling dervish of self-preservation, going all in on whatever craziness meets him in a given moment, all in the name of saving his family. He's a man who desperately wants to give up the fight and live a normal life, but the actions of others, coupled with his own past mistakes, force him into an active role his character is no longer equipped to handle. With every scene, DiCaprio makes that exhaustion and paranoia feel tangible, effortlessly throwing himself headfirst from one bonkers set piece to the next, and never once does it feel forced or unnatural. Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon. Blue Moon is what I refer to as a Best Actor Showcase film, a project almost tailor-made to highlight the leading man's performance. I'd argue Marty Supreme is as well, though it pretends it's not. No such pretense here. Hawke playing theater legend Lorenz Hart is a match made in heaven, as it gives him ample opportunity to flex his muscles, commanding the room in nearly every scene. Hawke has several monologues that stretch on for minutes at a time, but it never gets boring because his physicality is so energetic. He leans into the absurdity of having a diminutive, balding alcoholic demand your full attention in a room full of bigger, more beautiful people, and Hawke lets that tragic irony breathe throughout as he lists off his life's grievances. If there's a fault to be had, it's not with his performance, but in the moments where he cedes the spotlight. There are several scenes where Andrew Scott as Richard Rogers one-ups Hawke, an oddly appropriate thematic statement as the story is about Richard Rogers leaving Hart behind for Oscar Hammerstein. It makes sense from a story perspective, but it does ding Hawke's chances ever so slightly to be upstaged, especially when the film is designed to let him show off his skills for the entire runtime. Michael B. Jordan, Sinners. I mean, what can you say? Jordan's star has been rising steadily for the last decade plus, ever since his breakout role in Fruitvale Station. He's rarely had a slip-up, and with each prestige turn he shows why he's one of the greatest actors of his generation. How can he keep rewriting the rules of what great acting looks like? Well, how about playing two leading roles at once? As both Smoke and Stack, Jordan has to carry the load of a pair of leads, each with their own distinct personality traits, and make both of them sympathetic and believable as they wend their way through the real horrors of the Jim Crow South and the fantastical horrors of a vampire siege. He has to juggle two separate romances with Wumi Masaku and Haley Steinfeld, and make both feel completely natural and within character. He has to show strength, assertiveness, vulnerability, fear, resolve, and a genuine zest for life as the brothers prepare their juke joint and attempt to survive the night. Most impressive of all, he has to argue with himself on multiple occasions, talking to either a stand-in or just plain thin air, carrying on both sides of a conversation that the editors have to splice together. It takes an incredible amount of skill and talent to keep the emotion and motivation of both people in his head at all times, so that when the shots are put together, the dialogue flows freely, as if they really are two sides of the same coin. This is masterful work, and yet another high mark of Jordan's relatively short career to date. Wagner Moura, The Secret Agent. The key to Moura's performance in The Secret Agent is his resolve and his empathy. Throughout this modern take on the new Hollywood thrillers of the 1970s, Moura's Armando has pressure building on him from all sides. He's got a hit put on him by an influential power player. He's in hiding from Brazilian authorities at the tail end of the military dictatorship as he searches for information about what happened to his disappeared mother. And of course, he's doing everything in his power to secure safety for his young son Fernando, who he later plays in adult form during the story's present-day epilogue. There's a ton of genuine pathos wrung out of the simple concept of wanting to live as a normal person without looking over his shoulder, and yet he also understands the importance of standing up for what is right and not backing down against those who would victimize him and his family. There's a deep, layered complexity to Moura's performance, because while we can all say that he should just flee for his life, he's there to show that it's never as easy as it seems. There are forces at work that exist solely to keep you locked into your own death spiral, people who want you to suffer and die simply for existing, and that anguish is all over Moura's face, only occasionally broken up by brief moments of respite. He makes you care about Armando's plight every step of the way, which makes his fate all the more poignant once it's revealed. So, after all that, here are my rankings. In 5th place is Timothée Chalamet. Yeah, the presumptive victor is at the bottom for me, and not for any real flaws in his performance. I just found everyone else to be that much better. That's how strong this field is. Seriously. 4th place would go to Wagner Moura, 3rd to Ethan Hawke, 2nd to Leonardo DiCaprio, and if I had a vote, it would go to Michael B. Jordan, if nothing else than for the fact that everyone on this list gave a great performance, while Jordan gave 2. So, that's my take, but what about yours? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Be sure to keep it locked on actuallypaid.com for full coverage of this year's Blitz in print and video form, and I'll be back next week with another look at a subject near and dear to my heart, professionally speaking at least, film editing. Until next time everyone, I'm Bill Hammond. I actually paid to see this.
This is the BTRP Media Network.